Okay, today's lesson, lesson 5.6, is the remainder and the factor theorems. All right, we're going to learn to evaluate functions by using synthetic substitution and determine whether a binomial is a factor of a polynomial using synthetic substitution. And what synthetic substitution is basically, let's say we've got f of x equals 3x squared plus 5x plus 4, and we want to divide it by x minus 3. Well, the first way we learned was through long division. All right, we got a remainder of -8. The second way we learned was synthetic division. And once again, you can see that we've got the same thing here, -3x minus 4 with a remainder of -8. Now, I want you to notice on this. If I took my original function and I evaluated that thing for f of 3 and worked it out, notice I get the same answer here as I get right here, as I got right here. And this illustrates the remainder theorem. Basically, if I want to evaluate a function, then I can just use synthetic substitution to figure out what it is. Here's an example, okay? On this problem right here, if I want to know what this is going to be worth if I put 6 in place of all the x's, it would be rather time-consuming to figure out what 6 to the 4th power is and so on. But what I can do is synthetic substitution. Now remember, synthetic division, since that's 4th degree, I need one more term than that. I need 5 things in my row. All right, so I've got the 2 for the x to the 4th. I've got no x to the 3rd, so I place a 0. I've got the -5 for x squared. And I've got the 8 for the x, and then the -7. And if I want to know what this is worth, if I were to run 6 through it, I'll put a 6 out here and just go through and do synthetic division. Drop down your 2, multiply these two together and put your answer here. Add, multiply these two together and put your answer here. Add these together. Let's see, that's going to be 67. 6 times 67 is 402. Add. 6 times 410 is 2,460. And you can add these together. 2, 4, 5, 3. So your remainder is 2,453. So f of 6 is 2,453. Your numbers on your worksheet are not quite this large. Now, we use this to factor polynomials. All right? Remember that if we do our synthetic division and we get 0 as a remainder, then that means that what we divided out was a factor. Okay, you can see right here, this is called a depressed polynomial. These things right there, they're going to be 1 degree less than what you originally had. So this represents 2x squared minus 9x plus 10. And we divided it by x plus 3. So we've got that. All right? And since there's no remainder, if you were to multiply these two together, you would get this. Okay, so let's jump over here and take a look at one. Determine whether x minus 3 is a factor of this polynomial. Okay, 3rd degree, 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. I'm good. I won't need any zeros. All right, so let's do this. That's a 1. That's a 4. That's a -15. That's a -18. Remember, when you're doing this to divide out the x minus 3, you're going to need to put the opposite of -3. So let's put a +3 right here. Go through and do this. Drop down, multiply, place, and add. Multiply, place, and add. Multiply, place, and add. Notice my remainder is 0. So what that means is that x to the 3rd power plus 4x squared minus 15x minus 18 is equal to x minus 3 times this x squared plus 7x plus 6. Now they do want us to find the remaining factors of the polynomial, so what I'll need to do now is take this and translate it into a polynomial, x squared plus 7x plus 6. And then just like we did back in chapter 4, I need to factor this polynomial. Remember, you'll open 2 parentheses. Since this is just an x squared, I can place an x here and I can place an x here. Since this is a plus sign, it tells me that these signs are both going to be the same. And this tells us what they're going to be. Now, of course, if this were a minus, then the signs would be different, and we'd place our larger number in a minute with whatever sign that is. Now, I just need to think of two numbers that would multiply, because I'm looking for these things. Think of two numbers that would multiply to get me 6 and add to get me 7. Of course, that's going to be 6 and 1. All right, so now let's look at what we've done here. We've taken our depressed polynomial and factored it apart. We knew that this x minus 3 was a factor of this. All right, so now the other two factors of this are x plus 6 and x plus 1. Okay, and that is basically all that we're doing today. Tomorrow we'll be using this to actually solve equations. So be prepared for that, and I'll see you back tomorrow.